Welcome back to the Daily Devo. My name is Bob Bryant. Today we're going to be talking about standing firm in trials. Tunnel vision. Have you ever used binoculars or a telescope and you're looking through the binoculars and you can see something far away, but it feels like it's really up close? Tunnel vision is this concept that you lose your peripheral vision because you're zeroed in and focused on that one thing through the binoculars that you can see far, but it comes up close, but you lose this peripheral vision. This is very much like spiritual tunnel vision. This idea that we can zero in with our binoculars on our trials and challenges and circumstances of suffering, but we forget what's all around us. We forget the beginning and the middle and the end. We forget that God had elected and chosen us, and He's taking us to our inheritance in the future. Well, today we begin a 5-week study of 1 Peter. And so we invite you for the next 5 weeks to join us as we study 1 Peter. Today we're going to study 1 Peter chapter 1. And we're going to be in verses 1 and 2. Here's what they say. Peter, an apostle of Jesus Christ, to those who are elect, exiles of the dispersion in Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, Asia, and Bithynia, according to the foreknowledge of God the Father, in the sanctification of the Spirit, for obedience to Jesus Christ, and for sprinkling with His blood, may grace and peace be multiplied to you. One of the first things I see in there is this idea of exiles. It immediately makes you think about the Old Testament. And when we go back to the Old Testament, you're thinking about Israel when the Assyrians and the Babylonians came in and they exiled the Israelites. They most of the time moved them out of their homeland, but it changed their social mores, it changed their morals and ethics, it changed everything in their culture, that they weren't allowed to do the same religious freedom things that they could do before, and the Assyrians and Babylonians came in and exiled them out of what they were used to. Here, though, in the New Testament, exiles is a bit different. This idea is that God makes us exiles by electing us, by choosing us to be believers in Christ. We are exiles because our citizenship is no longer in this world. This culture isn't our primary culture. Our inheritance is in heaven. That is where our destiny is. But right now, we already experience that inheritance with Christ. And so we are empowered to live counterculturally. The things that this world values is not the same things believers value. We value things that will come in the heavenlies. Peter wrote this book. The purpose of why Peter wrote this is that believers would stand firm in the midst of their challenges, trials, and suffering. He wanted to accomplish this by getting people to put the binoculars down, lose the tunnel vision, see everything with your peripheral and long and short distance vision so that you could see what Christ has already done and what Christ is continuing to do all the way until we are in the final days. In the Old Testament, exiles were this concept of being displaced. We are displaced as New Testament exiles because of our being chosen and us being citizens of heaven. God is asking you to stand firm in these trials, in these sufferings, in these challenges, knowing that it's difficult. But the only way we have a chance is to put down the binoculars, that we are constantly focused on the circumstance. And we need to begin to look more at what Jesus has done for us, what He's doing for us, and who He is to us.